Let's see. Mullah Ali Madad, background check should be mandatory. Apparently, you don't understand what American law is because background checks already are mandatory. Maybe you think you're commenting on a video from another country because this is America. And in America, we already have background checks. So maybe check your facts. Or if I were you, I would click off. If you're on MSNBC.com or CNN.com, click off of that because you're on the wrong website. Again, Mola Ali, my dad, says background check should be mandatory. And he or she is clearly commenting on a video that he thinks is in another country. Doobie Antimano says it's Friday. What's up? Ralph McDaniel. Ralph is here. What's up? Good to see you, Ralph. Mr. F and H, what's going on, man? Good evening to you as well. Javier Malav, hello from Jacksonville. Nice to see Jacksonville in the room. The Archangel is here. What's going on, dude? Max Jenner, Douglas Smith. Let's see, Eric Davis, James Crum. Sorry, Mala Ali Mahad on private sales. No, actually, you're the asshole. And y'all don't have to mute his because I can handle this dickhead. This is a troll that is clearly a plant from the liberal candy asses out there. And this jackass is not a gun owner. I know this guy is not a gun owner, or this girl's not a gun owner, because no real Second Amendment protector would expect there to be private sales to be criminalized. And that's what these laws are. So this is an ass clown right here that can stay in the room for right now. I'll boot this idiot after I hear a few other things that he or she's got to say, because it's fun for me sometimes to deal with jackasses like this. So yeah, you're welcome to stay for now. But I mean, at some point you're going to get booted. You know you are, because you're not here to actually partake in any kind of real debate. You're here to actually play. And I'll play with you a little bit. Unfortunately, you're not going to like the facts that you're handed, because I'm going to give you facts that will burn down any kind of little village you might be trying to build right here. Let's see. Anthony Facer, what's up? Casey Derwin, what's going on, dude? How's it? Good to see you, man. Brendan Quinn, Mr. Parts for Sale, Wakanda Forever, Images by 2215, Doak Davis, let's see, I can't even, Villa, let me get back up here and see it. Villasco Hagen 24, Vince Bonifera, Roy K. I'm sorry, guys, you're rolling in here kind of fast. I'm trying to read these as quickly as I can. DB Cooper, Huge Ass Bear, what's up? Clay Nance, Chili 50, Jay Hensley 71. Yeah, Jay, I appreciate it, man. Sent an email to Fox 29. I appreciate that on our behalf. Wakanda Forever, Chris Langley, John Patella. All right, let's see here. Let me try to get back to the front over here. Frustrated Buckeyes in here. What's going on? Hey, Ohio, good to see you. Let's see. Kelvin Washington, Mr. Parts for Sale says he's a Glock hater. Hey, all is one now, representing New Hampshire. Good to see you, man. I think Robert ATV 660. Keep up the great work. Thank you, man. Leroy Worsley is in here. Leroy is a U.S. Army combat veteran and pro Second Amendment. Good to see you, bud. Always good to see you guys in here. I think I have covered almost everybody. Thomas, Louise, 1911, Glock 7 mag. Man, I mean, y'all are flying in here. It's hard for me to keep up right now. Wakanda Forever, I'm going to tell you my opinion on background checks. I hope the other jackass that was in here earlier that is clearly a plant and a troll is still here, because I'm going to tell you my idea and my thoughts on background checks. First of all, we have background checks. We have for a long time. Let's see here. What was the first thing? Was it the Brady bill that actually made us have background checks? Was it back in the 80s and the 90s that we first had background checks? Would you guys realize that a lot of you on here weren't even born, that we've had background checks for that long? So the idiots that are in here that might think we don't have background checks, just because a Democrat has taken advantage of you and made you look like a fool by convincing you that we don't have background checks, because they keep telling you that we should have background checks and you bought it. I'm sorry if you look stupid, because unfortunately, you are stupid. Sometimes you can be stupid by birth, and sometimes you can be willfully stupid. What that means is you don't look to try to educate yourself, so you choose to continue to be stupid. That's what some of you are. And obviously, you guys know who I'm talking about. The ones on here that think that we don't have background checks and haven't had them until HR 8 got voted in this week are willfully stupid, because these are things that have been going on for decades as far as background checks. And you act like because a Democrat has told you that we need background checks, that you assume we haven't had them all along, which we have. Now, if you're talking about, oh, come on, ban AR-15, save our children. This clown right here seems to think, and I'm not going to let him steal the show. I'm going to let him or her say this one last thing, and then I'm going to move on, because this is a person that just doesn't know guns. I can promise you this person is probably huddled in their closet right now because they're intimidated by me. They're ashamed. They're fearful that I'm going to reach through the screen and beat the brakes off of them. That's what people like this are. They're intimidated by anybody that has a real set. And that's me, because clearly I'm intimidating this person. They're probably huddled up in their closet right now with their thumb in their mouth, and they probably got like a fly swatter or a couch cushion or something as protection, because they're so intimidated right now. The thing is, we're going to be dealing with people like this forever. And that's why I want to leave them in here, because unfortunately, we can't always have conversations without idiots like this. People like this they're brainwashed. You know what I mean? They're weak-minded. They live a life based on network television, NBC, ABC, CBS, and sometimes they'll click over to CNN. That's what rules their life. They don't know what happens in real life. They don't know what happens in the real world. People like Muhammad are just clueless to anything going on around them, because all they do is they flick on the TV. They get 5, maybe 10 minutes of sound bites a day. They scroll through their little Facebook feed where they have no real friends but their mom or their dad, who have probably blocked them by now. And they try to get their news from that, So they take the fact that a Democrat that has half of a brain says we need background checks, and they automatically assume we must not have background checks. But again, like I said earlier, they're willfully stupid, because they're not trying to see if that person lying to them. Now, I will tell you right now, if a Republican tells me something, I don't buy it. You know what I do? I go investigate it to see if they're lying or not, because Republicans will lie to you just as much as a Democrat will. The unfortunate thing is, idiots like Muhammad think that Democrats are actually telling the truth. So again, they're willfully stupid. You can be smart and choose to be stupid. You follow what I'm saying? If you don't do anything to make yourself smart and you continue to choose to be stupid, then you are willfully stupid. And that's what most of these sheep like Muhammad are, who are following all this rhetoric out there that's handed to them in little bitty tiny bite-sized pieces, because their little pencil necks won't allow them to swallow any more than that. So that's what we have to deal with. It's not going away. People like this are always going to exist. There's always going to be clowns and idiots that can't think for themselves. We call them group thinkers. They're never going to have an original thought. So they're spoon-fed in these tiny little pea-sized pieces, a little bit of information that their little simple brains can process. And that's how they process it. They process it on a whim like that. If it's too deep, if it's more than a paragraph long, if you've got more than 3 sentences in a paragraph, you've lost them. They're gone. So that's the unfortunate thing. We have to learn how to deal with stupid people, because stupid people are always going to be out there. Stupid people can legally vote, guys. So we can sit here and talk about people like Muhammad and how stupid they are all we want to, but they're always going to be stupid, and they're always going to have the right to vote until they go to jail. A guy like Muhammad one day will probably be in jail anyway. But as long as he's out of jail, or she, they're still going to be able to vote. So we can't dismiss them as if to say they don't mean anything. You know what I mean? No matter how stupid they are, they still can cancel out my vote. So again, we have to understand that they're in the room all the time. That's why I'm leaving them, Muhammad in here right now, because we've got to understand that they're in the room, whether we like them in the room or not. They can cancel out our vote. So just like the feed here, you know what I mean? There's one of you guys that has some sense and some common sense, and then this idiot's comment will pop up, and it's kind of displacing yours. You know what I mean? It's pushing it further out of the conversation. Unfortunately, that's what we have to deal with. And again, I didn't plan to talk about this, but it's perfect timing, because this is how it works. We've got to get used to having idiots like Muhammad buzzing around the room with flies buzzing around him, and vomiting the rhetoric that he's been spoon-fed by these idiots on the left, because the idiots on the left know there's a bunch of Mohammeds out there. There's a ton of Mohammeds out there, just like this idiot. And the left knows that, and they prey on those people. And they're so easy to dupe because they have no real sense of looking for facts out there. And they love to be in a clique. In other words, a guy or a girl, I don't know what Muhammad is, has probably had the brakes beat off of him or her his whole life. You know what I mean? Probably had the crap beat out of him. Probably had the crap beat out of them today. So they've been messed with their whole life. They don't fit in. They're idiots. And I'm not saying it's okay to bully somebody. What I'm saying is sometimes you can be so stupid and so ignorant that you're always looking for a place to fit in, and you pick the wrong places to fit in. You know what I mean? Sometimes the place that seems like a right place for you is not the right place. And a person like Muhammad is choosing the path of least resistance, not because it's the best place for him or her, but because the Democrats know that they have a place for idiots like this, not because they like them, definitely not because they like them, because they don't like this idiot Muhammad any more than we do. But they know there's a place for Muhammad because they know the stupid people will gravitate to that side. And again, you make them feel welcome, you BS them because they're easy to BS because they're stupid, then all of a sudden they start voting your way. That's all the Democrats want. Guys, I've said it on social media all week long. With the Democrats, it is strictly PR over people. It's got nothing to do with people. HR 8, HR 1112 save 0 lives. 0 lives. It's simply a PR campaign to pass HR 8 and HR 1112. Now, you want to know what the real sad part is? Yeah, again, it's not about people, because guess what HR 8 and HR 1112 will do? They are going to cost lives. Yeah, you heard me say it. It's going to cost people's lives. Let's talk about HR 8 real quick. We've talked about all this in the last few weeks. And HR 8 is one of those bills that it's called the bipartisan background check bill. You know why? Because there's several, about 12 turncoat Republicans. Again, how many times have I told you guys don't trust a Republican because you can't trust their vote any more than a Democrat? But I digress. About 12 Republicans have sided with the Democrats to pass HR 8, which is a hugely unconstitutional bill. Now, what HR 8 does is it makes it where every single purchase of a firearm, including private sales, including selling a gun to your cousin, to your brother-in-law, to your sister-in-law, it includes criminalizing if for some reason you want to loan a gun to somebody. Let me give you a little situation here. Let's say you have a sister of your, let me not use a sister. Let me just say a coworker, all right? Let's say you have a female coworker who just got a divorce from their husband. Let's say that their husband is a little bit of a violent person, a little bit of a, maybe he's a meth head. I know Muhammad's probably offended by me talking about meth heads, but I'm sorry. So this person may have a violent past to them, all right? Let's say they got a divorce and this coworker of yours has no protection. Now that they're not living in this nice home that they lived in before because they had joint incomes, now they're living in a Section 8 housing. Not so good of housing. The elements in that area are not the best. That's not a racist statement. That is a fact. Section 8 housing is not the best. Check the crime stats on that. It's not me, guys. I didn't make it. The crime stats created themselves. People created the crime stats. What happens is, if I see this person is moving into this really bad neighborhood with 2 or 3 kids of her own, she has no protection. If I decide that I want to loan her a gun for protection, I can't do it because now I've been criminalized because I cannot loan that person a gun. Now, the incredible thing is that HR 8 actually says that if you want to loan somebody a gun because there's a threat of imminent danger, that you can loan them that gun for as long as that imminent danger is a credible threat. You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of saying only wear your seatbelt when you think you're going to get into a wreck. Because who knows if that threat is imminent or if it's gone away. If you live in Section 8 housing in a really, really bad neighborhood, you might live 2, 3, 4 years in danger, but never immediately threatened. Never have immediate danger because you're looking out for yourself. You're making sure that you lock the door, you got bars on the window, whatever. 2, 3 years go by, and then you get attacked. How can you plan that? How do you foresee when that immediate danger is and when it goes away? I'm just curious. Clearly, somebody in Washington, D.C. has the ability to foresee that danger because they specifically wrote that into the law. How do you do that? Who's done that? Can somebody help me? Because believe me, if I can predict what days I need to wear a gun, although a gun still feels really comfortable on my side, you know what? Maybe there's a day I don't need to go running with it on my side. Because it's not the most comfortable thing in the world to go jogging around my neighborhood with a gun bouncing on my side. I do it, but it's because I don't have that skill, that magic, that superpower to be able to see into the future and foresee when that imminent threat is actually going to take place. So clearly, somebody in Washington, D.C. does possess that skill, that superpower, because they wrote that into this bill. Unfortunately, most of us, little people, don't have that skill. So I would loan that gun to that person. Not only would I become a felon, but so would she, through no fault of her own, simply seeking to find the means to protect her own family. That's what H.R. 8 does for you guys. It makes new criminals out of people who are otherwise law-abiding citizens. That's bullcrap. Now, you've probably seen my video on H.R. 1112. That's another one. That's another one. It's going to sit here and make people start buying guns, not from a gun store, but from other people and violating H.R. 8 because they can't seem to get protection because of H.R. 1112. H.R. 1112, of course, being the bill that is going to make you wait a 10-day waiting period using business days, not calendar days. Then it's going to take, then when you get delayed, it's going to take another 10 days, business days, not calendar days. Remember, weekends play into that. Then you're going to go into an expired validity check on your background check, and you're going to have to start the process all over again. So once you get caught into this perpetual loop of having to always submit a new background check, but yours just expired and they continue to delay you arbitrarily, now what are you going to do? I need protection. I can't keep filling out this background check and waiting a month at a time, hoping that the federal government is going to precede me. So what's that make me? It makes me now, instead of waiting on H.R. 1111, now I'm going to go violate H.R. 8 because I'm not going to get a background check. I'm going to go to my friend and beg and plead to say, please, I need some protection. I'm living in a bad place and I don't have these superpowers to be able to foresee when some kind of immediate danger is going to befall me. So it makes me become, on my own, it makes me choose to be a felon. That's what they're seeking to do, guys. I truly, in my heart, believe this. What better way to take guns away from people than to make them felons to where they can't legally have them? And you know what it's doing? It makes you become, I call it, a white-collar felon because you're not doing anything of any real danger. If I sell a gun to my friend or my neighbor next door who needs protection, I've done nothing violent. I've done nothing that's inherently wrong or bad. There's nobody out there in the gym. There's no one that wants H.R. 8 to pass who would say I've done anything wrong other than he broke the law. They'd look at that and go, well, I mean, I know H.R. 8 is the law and he should have gone and gotten a background check, but he just sold it to his neighbor who needs some protection. You see what I mean? Even Democrats are going to be like, wow. You mean my best friend's a felon now? Wait till it starts happening to the Democrats. Wait till it starts happening to them. Don't think that a political affiliation is going to somehow or another protect you from becoming a felon if you decide to do that. Oh, and guess who it's not going to affect? It's not going to affect people like Muhammad's friends, the ones who are already felons. It won't affect them. Do you honestly think that somebody like Muhammad and his friends are going to take their little kilo of cocaine down into the middle of the hood, looking for somebody to buy a gun so they can do another drive-by? Do you honestly think they're going to walk up there and say, "Hey, dude, I got a kilo for you. I need a Tech 9. Sorry, dude, we need to run down to that FFL over there." For what? Background check. Why? It's a new law. Really? Okay, well, I'm just going to take my kilo and go to the next corner over there. I'm not going to do business with you. Do you honestly think that, guys? Come on, really? This is a law only directed at law-abiding citizens. Only. There will never be in the history of the planet Earth a criminal who will now say, "Whoa, have you heard of HR 8? We can't do this transaction right here. Not sure if you've been watching the news, but I got my Wall Street Journal right here, and there's a new law. I mean, I'd love to have your kilo of cocaine, but can't do it. Follow me with your kilo of cocaine down to an FFL. Let's go to Academy. You bring your kilo of cocaine. We'll make the trade right there in Academy, but we'll fill out a 4473. That way you're safe and I'm safe. We don't want to become more criminal than what we already are, right? That's how it works, isn't it? Y'all, the anti-gun left have got to be some of the fakest, most stupid people that I have ever listened to in my life. There are times, especially this week, when I literally have to not even try and attempt to open up Facebook or any other social media or Twitter because I can't stand to see what these people are saying. You want to see somebody go off the deep end? Follow me on Twitter, because I let them friggin' have it on Twitter. I'm dropping F-bombs. I'm calling them dipshits. I do everything I can on. I am so shocked. I think the reason why I haven't been kicked off of Twitter is because I don't have enough followers. The Legally Armed America Twitter account, it's got, I don't know, 2,400, 2,500 followers. So it's got a few followers. I had to create my own personal one because I didn't want any potential sponsors or whatever that we did through Legally Armed America to see the stuff that I was saying, because I can't handle it on Twitter. Twitter's a little bit different. Guys, Twitter is like going out to a bar and everybody's had a few drinks, is what it's like. It's brutal. If you ain't a big boy and you're not wearing your big boy pants, don't even try Twitter, because I let them have it. I go out and I follow all the big names out there, all the people in Congress, all the big people on the networks out there. I follow them all and I rip them. I troll the crap out of them and I let them freaking have it. So if you want to see some entertaining Twitter feeds, Legally Armed America is not bad. I make all the posts for Legally Armed America, but I try to keep it clean. You want to see some good stuff? Go to Paul Glasgow. Go check out my name. I think it says official behind the name. Paul Glasgow, and then it says official in all bold letters. That's a fun account to watch, because I'll lay in bed at night and I will burn rubber on them. I let them have it. So yeah, check them out, because I'm not pretty cool. I'm not the cool guy. I'm not the nice guy. I've been blocked. I've been put in timeout, but I've never had my page like stopped or anything. I'm blown away that nobody has like reported me or anything, because I'm brutal on that. Anyway, I'm not bragging about it. I'm just saying it's fun. It's fun for me because I just let it all hang out. There's no professionalism at all on my Twitter account. None whatsoever. But yeah, guys, I mean, HR 8 and HR 1112, these are bills that the thing that probably bothers me the most is that we are dealing with, what's the best way to put this? We are dealing with a lot of people who are on our side, so to speak. And I say they're on our side because I think they truly believe that they are, but they're not. I have seen on pro-gun pages, pro-gun sites, all that, people saying, I'm talking about gun people, guys, saying, what do you have against background checks? Again, I go back to what I said earlier. Are they so stupid that they don't realize that we already have background checks? Because people like Muhammad don't know that we already have background checks. So are they as stupid as Muhammad? What level of stupidity are they? Are they Muhammad stupid? Or are they just kind of stupid? Because we've had those background checks for so long. How does a pro-Second Amendment person, how does a gun guy say, what do you have against background checks, and not know that we have had them all along? Do you see what I'm saying? It's totally frustrating to me because I'm like, wait a minute. You're not a gun guy. It doesn't take a guy buying 5 guns a week, 1 gun a month, 10 guns a year. It doesn't take somebody buying frequently to know that we've always had background checks. If you have bought 1 gun, 1, not in the last year, 1 in your lifetime, chances are you filled out a background check. If you bought it from a store, you definitely filled out a background check. Background checks are not optional. If you are an FFL, whether it's a used gun or a brand new gun, if you are a federal firearms licensed dealer, you are making your customers fill out a background check every single time. I don't care if it's a 50, well, there's no 50-year-old high points. I don't care if it's a 5-year-old high point or a brand new Colt 1911. If you're an FFL dealer, you're making people fill out a 4473. I know this as a fact because you pay too much money to have your federal firearms license. You've invested too much money in your inventory, your stock, your building, your employees, your own livelihood. You're not going to risk it over some little old crackhead walking through the door who doesn't want to fill out a 4473 to buy a $100 piece of garbage gun. You point him out the door and you tell him, get out of here. We don't do business like that. I know this for a fact because I know gun stores who have told people who have simply asked, hey man, do I have to fill out a background check? I have seen them pull the gun back away from the shelf and go, get out of here. Get out. Don't need your business. I have seen FFL dealers do that. I have seen it with my own eyes. I have seen gun shows. Again, the gun show loophole, big fallacy. Gun show loophole is simply private sales. It's a guy like me who walks around with a gun at a gun show and says, hey, anybody want to buy a Glock? If somebody wants to, I sell it to them. That is a private transaction. It's got nothing to do with the gun show. It's all about geography. It doesn't matter if I'm standing in the gun show, in the parking lot of the gun show, across town from the gun show, on the other side of the world from the gun show, or just a different week than when the gun show even is. The gun show's got nothing to do with it. It's not a gun show loophole. It is simply a private sale. That's what it is. And I have seen people go to those gun shows, and I'm not talking about people who are trolls and who are trying to set up the FFL to try to get them to buy. These are people who legitimately don't want to fill out a background check. And I have seen them walk up to tables. I'm going to tell you right now, my old friend who passed away last year, Richard Pursuti. He used to run the gun shows at the Civic Center in Lake Charles. I watched a guy walk up to Richard one time. Richard and I were having a conversation. A guy was looking at a gun, brand new gun. And the guy looked up at Richard and goes, hey man, he said, and you could tell the guy wasn't a reporter or a journalist or whatever. This guy wasn't setting Richard up. He was simply asking because he didn't want to have to fill out a background check. And he picks the gun up. How much for the gun? And Richard's like, the price is on it, which was dangling from the price tag. And the guy goes, hey man, if I give you cash for this, do I have to fill out a background check? You know what Richard did? The guy's holding the gun like this. Richard goes, get out of here. Get out of here. The guy's like, what? Richard says, get out of here. Ran him out. Because federal firearms licensed dealers do not tolerate that element. So anyone selling guns without requiring a background check is not an FFL dealer. And let me tell you something. If they do not require a background check, they're criminals. They may have an FFL, but they're criminals. But I have yet to meet one FFL dealer who will let you walk with a gun without filling out a 4473. As many guns as I have bought from Richard over the years, if Richard was the only person working in the store and there were 500 people in there, and I walked in there and said, "Hey, Richard, hey, man, if you don't mind, you got a bunch of people in here. I know you're busy. I'm just going to walk out of here with this gun right now, and I'll catch up with you later." Nope. He'd have done the same thing to me. He'd have pulled that gun out of my hand. Nope. I'll get to you in a second. And Richard was a friend of mine. Don't work like that, guys. There's this little world that the Democrats and the anti-gun people have dreamed up that does not exist. It simply does not exist. The underworld that they're talking about, where illegal firearm sales are actually made, it's in their backyards. It's in their backyards. Their constituents are the ones doing it, not me and you. We don't do it. But they're wanting to put more of us in jail, more of us honest law-abiding citizens, than their own constituents in Chicago, in Baltimore, in New Orleans, in Los Angeles, in New York City, in Detroit. They're wanting to put more of us in jail than those guys. You know what that also does too? When you put honest law-abiding citizens and make them become felons, you know what else it does? You know how the Democrats are trying to push for open borders so they can get more illegal aliens to come in and vote? When you make me a felon, guess what also that does? It takes away my right to vote. That's one less conservative vote that you have when you put my ass on a felony. That's what it does, guys. It ain't a conspiracy when it's really happening. You follow what I'm saying? It's simply not a conspiracy. If it's happening, it's not a conspiracy. And guess what? It's happening right before our very eyes. They want open borders and they want to make you and I felons. There's no better way to tip the scales in your favor than to bring in more illegal aliens and put more of us in jail and make us felons. They'll never lose another election if these laws continue to get passed, guys. They never will. Because at some point, there's going to be another Democrat president. And when there is, open borders what it is. We may have a wall by then, but they're going to open the gates up. Pathetic, guys. It's so pathetic. I mean, I see this stuff. Let me look at y'all's comments for a minute because I'm aggravated right now. Wait a second. I know Warsaw Patriot's been trying to get my attention for a little bit now. Let me read this real quick. I wanted to ask you, we've been dealing with red flag laws growing and spreading, and I had an idea. What if we had a lawyer agency like the USCCA that protects us in situations? Man, it's funny you say that. And I'm not just saying this. I actually contacted 2 of my attorney friends this week. It may not be to the level that you're actually talking about, Warsaw Patriot, but I will tell you what I had in mind. I contacted 2 of my attorney friends, and I asked them if they would be willing to help me develop a core of attorneys that were pro-Second Amendment people. Both of these guys, very pro-Second Amendment, very involved in the gun community. I know another one in Virginia that I also want to look out to. He's actually a very high-profile guy. And I want to build kind of a coalition of attorneys so that when people like us have attorney-type questions, whether it be a concealed carry question, whether it be can I carry a gun inside this place? You know, is it a law or is it a rule? You know, you can break a law, you better not break a rule. You can break a rule, you better not break a law. So the 2 guys I talked to, they're all in. They're like, yes, let's do it. Let's do it. So again, I don't know to the level that you're talking about if it's going to be that far along where they'll be I guess dealing directly with that, but they very well could now. They very well could, because this is just an idea that I had. It's in its infancy, obviously. We haven't done anything at all. We've simply tossed the ideas around. We've talked about the pros and the cons, what we could do to help the gun community. And the thing is, we want to make sure that since we are being singled out as pro-gun people, We want to make sure that we're following the law every step of the way, because you guys know as well as I do, if we slip up one little bit, they're looking for a reason to make us felons, as I mentioned earlier, take away our rights to vote and take away our rights to have guns. That's right. Taking away, making me a felon not only takes my right to vote away, now I lose everything that I have in here. People can say, oh, I hear the people all the time. I hear the people that have one gun all the time saying, no compromise. They try to take my guns away, I'm doing this. Or if they try to do this, I'm going to do that. Look, guys, I got way too much to lose. I may not kiss anybody's ass, but I'm also not going to stand on my front porch and dare somebody to come mess with me. I'm not going to stand there with my bump stock hung in the air and saying, shall not be infringed. I'm just not going to do it, because I don't want to become a felon, because I don't care how much of a badass I think I am. I can't fight my way out of jail and get all my guns back. I don't want all my guns taken from me. I don't want to go to jail over that. Yeah, it makes for a really cool t-shirt and bumper sticker that Paul Glasgow was a badass while he was out of jail. I mean, it's great. Makes for a cool t-shirt. But it doesn't do me or my family any good if I'm in jail and I've lost my right to have guns. You see what I'm saying? That's why I get a little bit aggravated when I see these guys online always talking about, you're a FUD. You're a FUD because you're following the law. You're a FUD. Let me tell you something. I'm not losing my right. I work my ass off for the guns that I have, and I've worked my ass off for my family. I'm not going to lose them because I'm trying to prove to you, who has nothing, that I'm some kind of Billy badass. It's not going to happen. I'm smarter than that. So that's the unfortunate thing, is we've got to position ourselves to where we don't lose what we have, what we've all fought and worked hard for. We got to make sure we don't do that. We can't abandon our families. None of us can. We've got to do the smart, the right things. We got to make sure that as these laws get passed, we have to find out how far we can go and still be legally within our means to do whatever we want to do without becoming felons. Because again, none of us are any use to each other whenever we become felons. None of us are. If you can't vote alongside me, unfortunately, from a ballot box standpoint, you're of no value to me. I need you guys on here to vote with us and to help vote these things down. When these senators and these representatives out there make these decisions to cross over, like the 12 Republicans did for H.R. 8, that's our cue, guys. That's our opportunity to primary their asses out of there and get somebody else in there that can beat the next Democrats in the next congressional or senatorial race. That's what our role is. Our role is to do it from this end. And there's plenty of us out here to do it. We'll never have anything to do with California, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Chicago, Illinois. We'll never have any control over those areas. Screw them. I've given up on them long ago. And for those of you that are on here from there, I'm sorry, but I've given up on you guys. There's no hope for California or New York. There never will be, ever. Those states will never change. So I've given up on you guys. It's got to be the flyover states and all the other states, the states that elected Trump, that have to stick together and make sure that these people on the left coast and the right coast do not overwhelm everybody else. It's very important, guys, that we not become these people that are standing on the street corner and standing on our front porches acting like we're badasses and we all go to jail. I will never suggest that you do something that you go to jail over. You will never hear me say that, because we are of zero value in jail. Zero. You have no value sitting in jail when it comes to the Second Amendment fight. And there's some big time YouTubers out there that talk a lot of noise and a lot of smack, and they will never do that. They talk a lot of noise, but they're going to comply like all of us will. I'm not going to talk that noise. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to follow the law. And I'm telling everybody right now, I'm on the record, I will follow the law. I've got a bump stock or two somewhere in here. The clock's ticking right now, guys. The clock's ticking. We've got a few weeks left. If we don't destroy or turn in our bump stocks, we become felons. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a video destroying mine and belittling and downplaying and talking smack about the ATF, Donald Trump for pushing that, and everybody else out there, so they know where I stand and they know how I feel. You know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to sit back and go, oh, I got in a boating accident. I lost mine. You know why? Because I don't want to give any of these Democrats out there who have seen my videos, and I know they have because I've had plenty of them troll me on my website. I'm not going to give any of them the pleasure of sending some little butthurt ATF agent to my house and taking everything that I've got over one stupid bump stock. And I'm not saying I'm okay with the bump stock ban. I'm totally not. You guys have heard me say that. But I'm certainly not going to jail over it. I'm certainly not going to become a felon over a bump stock. Again, I'm of no value any more than you guys are, sitting in a jail cell going, rah, 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 Second Amendment. That's a right that I no longer have when I become a felon. So what good is it for me to do that? I get it. If you fly under the radar, if you live out in the middle of the woods, if nobody knows what you have, nobody's seen a video or a Facebook post or a social media video or post or picture, if that's the case and you feel like you can safely retain those items without becoming a felon and without mouthing off about it, without telling your neighbor whenever you get drunk that I got my bump stock and they kiss my ass, they ain't coming to get it. It's not the way it works, guys. If you can get away with it, fine. You do what you want to do. There's a little too much evidence that I own bump stocks. There's 4 or 5 videos out there that I have bump stocks. Those of us that have done this and what we do, we are going to be targeted. We are going to be targeted. Imagine what happens. Imagine this. What happens when, is it HR, oh gosh, something 23 maybe? I would look for it, but my internet's kind of slow right now. It's the bill that they're threatening. I really don't think this one will ever make it through, but they are threatening this bill to push it through that makes every single semi-automatic gun that utilizes a detachable magazine, every gun that does this, if you can do this to your gun, whether it's a pistol, a shotgun, or a rifle, if you can do that, if you can take it out, if it's detached, suddenly they want to amend the tax code, which is, I mean, it is a tax, which is the NFA, National Firearms. They are wanting to now all of a sudden make that gun to where it's illegal to have now, because now I've got to get a $200 tax stamp for this, because now it's an NFA item. That's right. This would be an NFA item if that bill passes. Imagine what happens then. You're going to come in here and clean house. I am looking at, I have one revolver right here that would not apply to. I have a pump shotgun that would not apply to. Other than those 2 guns, everything on this wall would be one that I would now have to get a tax stamp, a $200 tax stamp for. There's an M1 Garand over there. That would not apply because that is not a detachable magazine, since it is a clip that gets pushed up into the gun. So that one wouldn't apply. The M249 saw would apply. The Tommy gun would apply. The M16 would apply. Oh, look, I've got a crack barrel over and under shotgun. That wouldn't apply. Oh, look, I've got a black powder gun. That wouldn't apply. Oops, I've got a Ruger 1022. That would apply. $200 tax stamp on my Ruger 1022. Do you see where I'm going with this? These laws are about as overreaching as you can possibly get. It's amazing to me that gun guys have sat back and allowed these guns to get these gun bills to get pushed through. Guys, we got to do something, man. We got to do something. This is a crazy week, and these Democrats are threatening more and more and more. And again, as we see with the Republicans, look, we talked earlier about being willfully stupid. I truly, in my mind, guys, I believe politicians, look, a lot of these guys are either attorneys, doctors, do-nothings, whatever. I truly believe that if you looked at those 12 Republicans that voted for H.R. 8, the bipartisan background check expansion bill, I would be willing to bet that some of those, if not all of those 12, are probably just as willfully stupid as Muhammad, and they truly believe that we didn't have background checks before. So they voted for this without even reading the bill. Now, we're talking about a 3-page bill, maybe 2.5 pages, that they are too lazy to read because they're too busy campaigning and making all these little fundraising trips that they're making. We don't have many people on our side, guys. That's why it's so important that we got to mobilize and call people, email people, inundate them. You know, I'm happy to put out form letters. In fact, I need to do that. I know I've said I was going to do that. I need to go make a post on legallyarmedamerica.com, and I need to go out there and put some form letters. Yep, somebody's talking about how it's YouTube is shadowing us. Don't be surprised. Mine's doing the same thing. Isn't that something? Nothing shows wrong with my feed over here. Yeah, see, we're dropping out people left and right. Unbelievable, guys. I'm going to sit here and watch it because it's happening before our eyes. Can you guys see me yet? I'm watching it too. It's doing the same thing on my end. Unbelievable. I mean, 2016 Road King says Mom's the Man Action has hacked his feed. I know we're joking, but guys, how does this happen? My internet signal is perfect. It's impeccable. I'm looking at it right now. My Wi-Fi is on point. I have the upgraded Wi-Fi to where I can upload just as fast as I download, and that crap happens. Well, sorry guys. It looks like it's it looks like it's crapping out. Exactly right. Shark Trucker says 153 to 88 views. Exactly right. What a way to get rid of your viewers, right? What a way to do it. Unbelievable. I'm just going to keep letting it go until everybody's back in here. Unreal, man. 7:51, guys. I'm going to try to roll through. If you got questions for me now, I'm sorry. Again, I kind of get on these rolls and I get a little ticked off sometimes. I'm disgusted, I'm dissatisfied, and I'm aggravated right now that we've got so many issues right now in this country with politics that we've got too many people who are claiming to be gun guys out there who simply aren't. Again, I'm not asking you to go run down to the state capitol and open carry. That's not what I'm asking you to do. We got to mobilize somehow. I had somebody contact me earlier today about trying to, mobilize marches and things like that. Guys, I can't directly coordinate that. I've got way too many things going on. I've got way too many irons in the fire. It's hard enough right now for me to do anything right now, just with my show and all that good stuff. So it's become really difficult for me. If somebody, however, wants to organize something that's done professionally, if it's not done professionally, guys, no one takes you serious and it doesn't matter. It's like pissing in the wind. You got to do it professionally. It doesn't matter how bad, and I'm using this as a metaphor, guys. It doesn't matter how bad you want to wear a tie, but when you go to a funeral, it's a good idea and it's in good taste to wear a tie, right? So sometimes we got to do things in a professional manner. If we're going to mobilize a march or a walk or a gathering or a get-together or a protest, it's got to be done as professionally as it can possibly be, and it's got to be done the right way in a coordinated effort. I will help with any effort whatsoever that anybody wants to put up. I don't care if it's in Alaska. I will help you do it. Not saying I'll be there, but I will do everything I can to make it happen. And if I can be there, I will be there. Because I don't mind being the person that talks. You know, it's sad because we've got a lot of these we've got a lot of big YouTubers out there, guys, that are gun guys. But they sit here and they call everybody else names for, I don't want to say compromising because I'm not willing to compromise. But I would, look, you know what I would do? Just to destroy their argument, I would sit across the table from anti-gun people. I would sit across the table from them and I would listen to them. But I would make them listen to me. You follow what I'm saying? I'm not just going to listen to them. They're going to hear what I've got to say also. Now, we may leave that room completely disagreeing and no better off than we were before we walked in there. But I will have at least listened to them, where they cannot say that I haven't listened to them, but they're going to listen to me. You know what happened? These other YouTube guys out there who are Billy badasses, no compromise, I'm not talking to anybody. Those guys will talk about me and say that I was a FUD or whatever their little names are that they make up. That's what's a shame. The gun community won't stick together for anything. They're too busy trying to act like who's more of a badass than trying to realize and recognize who the true enemy is. It's the people trying to erode away at our constitutional rights and our ability to even have these guns in the most innocent of ways. Instead of just trying to identify those people, they're too busy trying to realize, oh my God, Paul might get 5 of my viewers might actually start watching his videos. So I got to bash this guy. I'm not saying it's happening. I'm just saying if that were to happen, I've seen it. I've seen some of these big YouTubers go attack other YouTubers just to do it. And they've done nothing wrong. I've gone on their own Instagram feeds and all that and commented, and I've had them yell back at me and start bashing me because now I'm siding with the guy that they're mad at. Why do we do that? Why can't we just get along and push for a common goal here? I mean, we're as bad as, you see the Democrats are doing it to themselves right now. These people that are running for president, wait till they start having to get into their primary debates. Wait till you see that. They're going to eat themselves alive because they all got tons of baggage. Cory Booker's sexually attacking gay men. Kamala Harris isn't really a black woman. She's a Caribbean Indian person who grew up totally rich. That's trying to prove to everybody that she grew up a poor black person when she hasn't. You got Joe Biden, who molests young girls every chance he gets. He's going to run. I know he's going to run. You got, who else? Who else is out there, the idiots that we've got out there? I can't even think of the other ones right now. So, I mean, they're going to eat each other alive because they all got so much baggage that it's all going to come up in their primaries. So they're going to do it to themselves as far as that goes. But my point is, that's what we look like in the gun community sometimes. Because instead of realizing that we all have one common goal, we can't get past that. We got to realize that, oh, that person doesn't dislike the same people I dislike, so they must be a FUD. They must be a FUD. I got to make a t-shirt about them. You know what I mean? It's unbelievable. The only people I try to, well, not try, the only people that I make fun of in the gun community are the ones that are stupid and unsafe. I guess that's the same thing. When they do unsafe things like this Voda guy, I have ripped this guy because he is unsafe. He is not a good ambassador of what we try to do in the Second Amendment community. He's going to get somebody hurt or worse, killed. He's gotten people hurt. That's the kind of person that I will make fun of because I want them to go away. I do not want them on our side. I don't want them a part of our community because they are not a good representative of us. Other than that, all the gun guys are on my side. As long as you're not being unsafe and you're not investing money into anti-gun movements like Benchmade and Surefire and whoever else it was, you're on my side. And I will have your back. I will take your back. I don't care if there's half of the things that you say and you believe that I disagree with. I will still have your back because we have a common goal, which is the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution. And too many people will not look at that. Some of these big time YouTubers are so caught up in the social media side and the amount of views and clicks and counts and how much money they make and how many people think they're a badass, that they are ruining everything that we're trying to stand for. They are not the people that we want leading the charge with the Second Amendment because they look like total asses. If we could just find a way to just come together and realize that we're never going to all agree. I mean, most of you guys that I probably believe and agree with 100% on the Second Amendment. You know what? I'll bet you we don't like the same football teams. I'll bet you we don't like the same things on the weekend. I'll bet you we don't drink the same beers. That's not going to make me call you out and make fun of you and belittle you. Why can't we put those stupid little things aside and realize that we've got some really major things. We've got to start prioritizing the things that we have in common and don't have in common. And if we have the Second Amendment in common, and we're trying to process that whole Second Amendment movement the same way, then who cares what you drink? Who cares what music you listen to? I hate hip hop. I don't care if you listen to hip hop. As long as you're standing shoulder to shoulder with me whenever we're standing there trying to defend the Second Amendment, I don't care. You can play Tupac as loud as you want to. As long as Tupac is talking about the Second Amendment and how we should protect it, I'm cool with that. I might put a do-rag on and tie a little Aunt Jemima thing on my head too, like Tupac did. We got to find some common goals, guys. We got to find some things that put aside all this other petty crap that we're always fighting about. We're always talking one in the chamber or not in the chamber. Do you like Glock or do you like 1911? They're always fighting in the gun community instead of saying, hey guys, we got some serious crap we got to be talking about. HR 8, HR 11, 12. That's the kind of stuff we should be fighting about. And we should all be on this side fighting about it, fighting against them. Guys, it's 8 o'clock, and I know I'm rambling. I know I'm aggravated because this week has been from a Second Amendment standpoint, this has been a very disturbing week to me. Again, you got people like Muhammad in here that still are too stupid to realize we've had background checks for decades, and now all of a sudden, oh, guess what? We got background checks. We've been having them. People are just stupid, guys. We got to work around the stupidity. Unfortunately, we got to maneuver our way through the stupidity. It's not going away, guys. It's just not going away. It's always going to be out there. We're always going to deal with people like that. Again, that's why I let him stay in the room earlier, because it's too easy to block somebody when you can block them. Because unfortunately, in everyday life, guys, we can't block anybody. Not in real life. As much as I want to block Nancy Pelosi, I can't block her. She's still going to do her thing, whether I'm listening to her or not. Whether Nancy Pelosi and I are friends on Facebook doesn't really matter, because she's still going to be attacking my Second Amendment rights out there. I can't block her. I got to realize that I have to live with her, which means I got to fight against her and whatever she's trying to push through. I got to figure out a better way to beat her at her game. That's what we got to do. It's not hard to outsmart stupid people. It's not hard, guys. Guys, I'm going to... the odd thing is, y'all, we actually had last week's stream. There were some guys that were, I think, 2 people last week that were actually kind of the people that I'm talking about that are supposedly pro Second Amendment, but somehow or another they didn't feel like I was Second Amendment enough, because I wouldn't go burn down the local sheriff's office because of unconstitutional stuff that they might be thinking or whatever. So it was weird, because whenever I killed the stream last week, a lot of the stream kept going. I don't know if YouTube has changed the way they do things on here or not, but I killed the stream last week and it just kept going. You know, I was able to sit here and still comment on what some of the people were saying. It wasn't going away. So I'm going to kill the stream here again in a minute, guys. You might want to stay on, because there still might be some stuff in here that, you know, keeps rolling. Again, I don't know if YouTube has changed something. Used to, whenever I would kill the stream, the chat room would go away also, and it stayed last week. So again, guys, I know I sound like a broken record. I totally appreciate, we had a massive room here tonight. This was a very good room. There was a lot of people, and there's still a lot of people in here. I don't know how long it's going to take me to go back and read through all your comments, but good God Almighty, you guys have tons of comments in here. I am very humbled when you guys come in this room and you talk like you do, and you interact with us and you hang around for 1 whole hour. I know it seems like this isn't a very long time. 1 hour, you know, is one of those kind of things where it seems like it goes by fast, but from my standpoint, it means a lot to me that you guys would put aside 1 hour of your family's time to spend with us. And I appreciate that. I'm very humbled by that. It means a lot to me. And believe me, there's a lot of things that sometimes I would rather go hang out and do other things on a Friday night. But this is a priority to me. It really is. Because you guys prioritize it, it makes me feel like I have I don't want to say a duty, because it makes it sound like it's a job or a chore, and I don't feel like that. But I do. I feel like it's one of those things where I kind of got to do. Like, hey, man, My buddies are coming on, so I want to be there. I enjoy this. I really do enjoy it. I think I get more of a kick out of going back and reading you guys' conversations in the chat room after we're done. And I do that. What I'll do is I'll roll through at night when I put my son to bed. I lay in bed with him and I scroll through and read, and I chuckle and laugh. I wish I could respond directly to you guys whenever I read the comments. It's kind of cool. So again, guys, I really appreciate it. Stay tuned for next week. There's going to be more anti-gun laws that are going to come rolling through here next week. They've already threatened it. There's some crazy stuff happening. These two bills, H.R. 8 and H.R. 1112, are moving on to the Senate now. I think it's a little bit, it's probably a little bit too premature for us to all of a sudden get happy and giddy because we feel like the Republicans have control of the Senate. Remember, we've got Marco Rubio and plenty of people just like Marco in the Senate who will vote for these H.R. 8 and H.R. 1112 unconstitutional Second Amendment infringement bills. They will vote for those guys. So we can't sit here and think, oh, we're good, we're safe. No, the Senate will never pass that. You got to get on those senators before they have a chance to vote and let them know, I'll vote your ass out of there if you vote for this stuff. Same goes for Donald Trump. Let Donald Trump know. Donald Trump's got one of the biggest egos in the country. You let Donald Trump know that if you vote for these bills like you pushed for the red flag laws and the bump stock ban, Don, you're out. You're out. I'm not voting for you. I may not vote for the Democrat that runs against you, but I'll sit home. And believe me, that will get Donald J. Trump's attention. Guys, we'll see you next Friday night. Stay tuned for some videos of me putting out this next week. I'll be breaking out some more of the bills as the bills get thrown forward and try to get rushed down our throat. I'll break them down as quickly and as accurately as I can, and I'll put some videos out to try to, give us something to talk about and to, pass on to our senators out there and representatives if more stuff's going through Congress. So, guys, we'll see you guys next week. As always, shoot straight, be safe, and, be kind to one another. I know I get a little pissed off on this show, but I'm not a pissed off person. Those of you that know me personally know that I'm a pretty nice guy. I just get wound up, and I